Hey everyone, happy Monday. And sorry for the delay. We just, we had to share the link with Angus Cloud. So hopefully he joins us. You never know. You never know. Fingers crossed. All right. But we'll see. And I just want to start off by saying, what an episode, as I feel like I say like every fucking week at this point. Sorry for the swearing, guys. But I just want to say, I got what I wanted, which was a play-by-play version of this play. Like, I wanted it scene by scene, and we're finally getting that. It feels good. It feels good to get one thing I wanted.
It was really good. It was like, I know some people in the chat are chatting about it too. There's a lot of like camp, especially like to the Nate parts.
Yes.
We'll get to very campy, very glee, giving very glee in those moments, but also like it wasn't overtly campy. It was actually very touching in a lot of ways. Especially the relationship with Lexi and Cassie that we're going to get into. I think it actually did a lot of those people a lot of good. Like it was the meanest it was Nate.
Yeah.
That's the meanest it was.
But he deserves it. Well, actually, not even.
The
way Ethan has his performance for the play has been phenomenal, and Nate should be lucky that Ethan was cast to play him.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like, he should be super lucky.
It's interesting because it's not actually the truth of Nate and of his sexuality and why he's the way he is. Like the nightmare that Nate has about, Cassie turning to Maddy, turning to Jules, turning to his father and like oppressing him, like that right there is like, that's really it. That's where all that problem is. And it's not actually just like two bros chilling in a hot tub,
Yeah.
It's not just that. Like, and that, so that's what's interesting. What's interesting is that that's what Lexi thinks and she knows, but she doesn't know the full extent of it. Nobody understands the extent of it, of what actually is happening in that mess of Mr. Nate Jacobs' head. No one knows the truth.
I don't think Nate even knows the truth of what's going on in Nate Jacobs' own head, to be quite honest. But before we continue with getting into the rest of the episode, I want to say a quick shout out to everybody that's here. See, we got Tina V in the chat, Narcissus 97, hey. Eliana. Hi, Eliana. If you guys didn't know, Eliana is Chloe's other half, her first half on Girls Gone Canon. I'm just stealing her for now. Thank you for letting me borrow her, Eliana.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for affording me the night out, wife,
We're thruppling. We're a new
thruppling. Yes. We have to replace some of the destroyed triangles tonight, or the triangles that are no longer triangles, like Maddy, Cassie, Nate. That's not a triangle any longer, I would say. Maybe
it's just a line.
Maybe between those two it is. No, Cassie and Maddy, maybe, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
There's a lot going on there. We got to find out. I also want to say hi to Cool Gamer. We got Darius Darkstar. Best episodes, hands down. I would have to agree right now. It's definitely my favorite episode of the season. Here's Jussie. We got Kiri. Hey, girl. And I'm still standing from the ovation I gave Lexi's play. That makes three of us, because I think we are too.
Yeah.
We got Mina Ruth. Hey. Got Basket Case. We got a lot of people here. Look at you guys. Oh, thanks for joining us. We got thanks for the super chat and John. And we agree. Fuck Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Can we just say I do not think Oklahoma got the same budget that Our Life got, because this, as somebody who did high school theater,
that set was expensive.
That set was super expensive. And even like in my high school, we used to like make the sets and stuff. Like there's like a whole class dedicated to making sets. And we could not afford something like that at all.
These kids called in their Apatow favors is all that I can say. Like that's the nepotism came to the screen, baby. It came along. Lexi
Yes,
was
it did.
outsourcing some checks from, I don't know, dude. Or maybe Fez was really investing in the production. Maybe that's what it was.
He definitely was. He was like, "Don't worry, you need an extra little bit of lighting budget. Here you go.
We
Here's a little bit
got
more to the
you. And a
lighting
blunt
budget.
on top.
I hope you enjoy. Don't fall asleep again." Oh, that scene was so cute. We'll
Here's
get
some
to that
munchies,
scene.
baby girl. It's
I
just
hope
such
you have
a good ship. This is so unfair. Okay.
It's so fucking unfair. But before we get into how unfair life is, real quick, I do want to say thank you for the other super chat. Thank you, Haven. Excited to finally be caught up to be able to catch this live. We're excited you're here to join us as well. This is such a good episode to talk about, especially like with everybody here. And another super chat. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. From Brit. Salsa
I love you,
Star.
Britt. Hello,
She's
Britt.
gonna,
Thank
if you guys didn't know, Brit does amazing cosplay. She also is the other understudy after Chloe took my place.
Amazing. Britt and I actually are stunt doubles for each other, truly, in Lexi's play, We could be.
Yeah.
We could be.
You could be. You guys will be there for second night, since I think after opening night, Lexi might have to take some time off.
That was okay, but also, again, suspension of disbelief. Really, Lexi's going to direct and star in this play. I get it. It's all like the core of her little heart. This is her life's works, her magnum high school opus. But she's going to direct and star and lead the play. Sure, I'm not against it. Good for you, but suspension of disbelief was required for this episode. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because I'm like, what kind of superhuman is she?
Apparently. I will say, I really loved that we got just the setting of the entire episode, right? How it starts off, that it's all Lexi's POV. All of the moments that we got in season 1 of Cassie, all of her memories are being retold from Lexi's point of view, right? And like Lexi is kind of like added in to some of these scenes that we've already seen from Cassie, that now it's literally, it's like we talked about last week, like it's almost retcon territory that Lexi is being added in as an observer, but it's actually, it really works, especially for some of the retconning adding in we get with some stuff with Fez. That also very much works, in my opinion.
It was super great though. It was so awesome. But I did want to bring up the realistic set thing real quick. When we open up and we get that scene in Rue's room, and the fact that it is a perfect recreation of her room.
Did you just steal the stuff from Rue's house when she was like withdrawing? How did this? Very interesting. Very interesting. It was the shot where you zoom out, because as soon as I saw, there were all those promo pics posted of the actors having the doubles, right? So you had that picture of Cassie with her double that's going to be her in the play. I knew that they were going to fade in and out of reality, right? And that actually is perfect with the title, because the title of the actual episode is The Theater and It's Double, right?
Yes.
And the difference is that this version is it's with an apostrophe, so it is double. So they're giving us 2 stories at once. But it's a collection of essays by French poet and playwright Antonin Artaud, and he basically talks about the call for communion between actor and audience in a magical exorcism of gesture, sound, sensory, scenery, lighting, to make a language that's like superior to words that can be used to subvert your thought and logic on any given thing to shock the spectator, which is Euphoria at its core, right? Like that is Euphoria. That is what Euphoria is. So I think it's such a great, like, showing and blending the backstories. Yes, the mind melding between the two. That shot of at the mirror with Cassie and it turning and being in the mirror, the actress, the double, that was the smoothest transition. It was giving this episode. Like, I will
everything.
Okay, Sam. I see you, Sam. I see you, Mr. Levinson.
We'll give you your props when they're due. We will. But then we'll also
retract that.
Bring you into the office when it needs to as well. But I agree. The mix of the backstories crossed with the play was mind melding. Sometimes for me, it was hard to discern the memory, the present, and the play itself, like trying to figure out what I'm actually seeing in certain spots. especially I like how we get with the kind of like the beginning of the play, it's Rue's father's like repast, like or like a memorial service. And we see it, we've seen stuff of this from Rue's point of view throughout the season already from this event. But at first, I didn't realize it the first time I watched it when Lexi's like, oh, is Rue in her room when she's walking towards it? And she's like, oh, you guys shouldn't be gossiping. The three girls standing there are supposed to represent Cassie, Maddy, and Kat, because it's the three actresses standing there that play them in the play. And I'm like, caught it on the second rewatch, and I was like, oh, I mean, it's kind of obvious because we open with the nice like title card saying Overture, the music playing. So I felt like I should have realized we were starting with the play, but just the way that
I actually love that setup, that whole entire structure. I was actually telling my husband this. I like how it throws you right in, and it, instead of answering the many questions we had last week, there's nothing, and it's just the play, which is honestly how a penultimate episode that's been building up to this big thing should be, in order to like springboard you into the last episode being a fucking banger, right? Like that's emotionally how you need to kind of play on things. And so for starters, with the song that's playing, the overture song that's playing, I believe it's Luna Amore e No, and it's from the movie Help Me My Love from 1969, an Italian movie where this couple is married happily for years, and their relationship goes kind of into a crisis mode, and everything goes up in the air when she falls in love with a handsome 40-year-old man that she once knew from attending chamber music weekly with her mother. So like she falls in love with some other guy. And I think there's a little bit there that it's almost like a forbidden love thing, which some Lexi stuff going on there. But
yeah,
we had a little chat before this, me and you, and I almost have a theory on what we might see, depending on the fate of certain characters.
Yes, we did talk about this.
So depending on the way next week crumbles, depending on the way Fezco or Ashtray dies, depending on which motherfucker dies next week, depending on how I have to behave next week, okay? How much booze I'm going to be consuming. If it is Fezco that may or may not be passing away next episode, I hope it's not. I hope he gets a chance at life. If it is, though, the shot of Lexi at the beginning of this episode of her inhaling, wearing her black dress, you know, about to enter a room and entering Rue's dad's wake could be interchangeable in the next episode with Fezco's wake. You know, like
what?
you could.
I like Darius's idea better. What if it's Faye? Yeah, you know what? Let's get rid of Faye.
Yeah, because that's how Sam Levinson is going to get a bunch of nerds to cry on YouTube next week. Okay.
I will. I liked her.
I would be sad, actually. I do like her.
I'd be so sad.
I do like her. I haven't watched her Euphoria film, and I need to.
Oh, I heard that's how she got casted.
Talk about a casting couch. I would watch it, though, because I would like to know. I would, but... And I'd also, like, real talk, I would like to know where she gets her filler. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I could just use... I got that white girl problem, you know, where, like, I don't have a lip there, so it's like, I could just use a little schmutz. So I don't know. I love Faye.
She could definitely donate and still have plenty left for herself.
She'd be fine.
Her lips are huge.
Mm-hmm, she could fix my problem.
She looks like Francine from American Dad, and I know we've said that before, but
yeah, we have.
She does. Oh, actually, speaking of looking and things, I noticed. I may not be the best flower expert on the overture. It looks like an iris type of flower, which would be fitting because Maud's sister's name is Iris, and I'm like,
oh, that's cute.
That's cute. That's cute.
Eliana pointed out that Faye looks like Faye from the most recent season of Love Island. I don't watch Love Island. However, she also looks like that chick from Big Mouth.
Lola,
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, also looks like her. So add it to the list. I think we need a list of everything Faye
looks like.
She accidentally memed the whole thing. Good for Faye. I love actually how the play and the main thing going. So you have like the play, you have the real, you have the surreal, so you have all of the background like flashbacks going on, and then you also have little flashbacks from recent weeks, and then you also have real-time ish, a little slower real-time Fez's plot. So like you have all these little timelines that we're juggling throughout the episode, going back and forth, back and forth. And the way it cuts those still to Fez is like there was a lot of pacing that had to be done. This like you had to pace this episode right, and it was paced so well that throughout the whole episode I was going, okay, but take me back to Fez's. We got to go back to Fez's. I got to know what's going on. But then the play would capture me, and I'd be too deep in all the trauma going on the screen. And then suddenly I'd remember the Fez stuff. And when the scenes did finally happen, they were so suspenseful and such a slow burn that it moved me through the episode with like this slow anticipation building up that by the end of the episode, literally when the episode ended, I literally went, what the fuck? Are you fucking I was kind of livid. I was like, you can't end it here. You can't do this to me, a watching citizen in real life.
Oh gosh, what kills me with that is like the lines that we end on. I mean, we'll get there later, but I agree with Bobby. Lexi is brilliant. But what really, really kills me is she's like, your friend never picked up his ticket.
She's like,
and then Fez is like, I'm getting ready to go. Is everything all right? And then it's like,
that's the thing. She'll know something's wrong because he texted her and he didn't.
He said I was on my way. He said he was on my way.
He texted her, and if you text and you don't show, you know something's up. And she said, middle of the play, I knew something would go wrong, which is unfortunately why it makes me think maybe something's going to go wrong.
Oh, it definitely is. Something bad's going to happen. But before we get into the sadness with Fez, I did want to touch up on the scenes with her and Rue a little bit. Like, well, her and Jade. So we discussed, I'm not sure if we mentioned this when Eliana was on, like if this was just us when we were talking before we went live, about pointing out why Rue's name in the play is Jade. It's because Rue's real name is Ruby and Jade's another stone.
Which I just have to say, it's interesting then, don't you think it's, okay, this is totally a little off the beaten path, but then it's really sweet that you have Jules,
yes,
and Ruby, and it also is giving Steven Universe, which is very, very gay and wonderful and queer and beautiful, so that, I think there's connections here. I think there's...
Oh, we have an even deeper connection because Jade is my best friend's name, and know what we did together? My 1,000 subscribers special where we talk about the Euphoria characters and their zodiac signs. So you guys should watch that.
It is my favorite video. It is my favorite video.
Yes, and I want to talk about how Cassie is definitely a Cancer, and that's all I'm just gonna stand on with this episode.
Okay, but you know, like, yes, but I do not say this around Greg, but she also is giving a little bit of there's that little bit of Gemini action in there, right? Like there's that little bit of Gemini somewhere underneath the blood there, and I'm just putting it out there.
It's in the 3. It's in the 3.
It's in one of the 3. One of the 3. God.
Yeah. Oh, also, I wanted to bring this up. What Child of Persia said. Oh, first of all, love the profile pic because
yes,
Ariane appreciators over here. But also, Rue wears a sweater that is the color red, maybe even ruby red. I like that the cast in the play, Jade is also predominantly wearing that same like reddish tones.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's wearing a sweater, and then like that scene when they're on the roof, she's like kind of like in a monochromatic like burgundy look. Like I love that.
And they complement each other there because she's wearing green and she's wearing red, so they have the opposite ends and they like complete each other.
Yes.
God, and again, like I actually love that like we thought this was going to be Burn Book levels of Gossip Girl levels of burns going on, right? Like we thought this was going to be wild, but it wasn't. In fact, it actually was sad. It might be the only thing that saves Cassie and Maddy's friendship, actually, this play, because they both were... Cassie in the crowd crying really got me. Her crying about the family, about her mom, Ethan.
Her and Suze.
Her mom, Ethan.
I know.
I knew Ethan was Nate. Like, we knew Ethan was Nate from the previews, but they held everything else out to perfection. We had no clue how Austin Abrams was going to be.
No, we took our bets last week, and I never would have guessed they would have had him play multiple characters throughout the show.
Even the photographer.
He starts like so. All right, so we kind of open with this play. Kind of get into the play. We're gonna be all over the place, guys. Just that's how we roll. It's 7 weeks, guys. You know how it goes. Anyways, so we got that nice little, flashback. Rue's dad's services. Lexi tries comforting Rue with a nice, lovely poem, and she makes that beautiful note that no matter what, it seems that drugs will always be a comfort to Rue that she wouldn't be able to fill. But I'll circle back to that a little bit later when she gets deeper into that. But we open up, and I love the way she introduces like everybody. She's like, and it's the story of the 5 of us. Grace, who's Lexi, Hallie, who's Cassie, Marta, who is Maddy, Luna, who is Kat, Jade, who is Rue, and then it's them taking like their yearbook photos. And that's when Maddie's like, is this fucking play about us?
Amazing. Luna, I love that, like, just to show Kat's different. Her name's Luna.
Yes.
That killed me. That slayed me.
That one was like, because out of all of them, I kind of could see like the Grace for Lexi one. I was kind of like, not sure where that one came from, but I like it. My grandmother's name's Grace, so I'm always for that. But the Hallie, Cassie, kind of like they end in this very similar sound. Marta, Maddy, M.A., Luna, Kat, maybe, I don't know. She likes wearing dark colors. The nighttime, Luna, the moon. I don't know where that came from, but that's all I got.
Right. Well, I have to say, Eliana almost came up. Yes, Eliana was about to make possibly a Sailor Moon reference in the chat. She said Kat, Luna, you know?
Oh, yep. Yes. Yep. Yes.
And her style is like goth, baby girl, mommy dom, like makeup power. You know what I mean? Yep. It's in a very eclectic mix of all of that. So I think Luna's perfect for that.
It is. Also, side note, Maud Mary. Yes, she is, in my opinion. But it's Cat in Aquarius. Yeah. Again, I'm just gonna plug that video. Just watch that video, guys. It's really good. It's fun. It's fun.
So fun. It is fun.
It's so fun.
The whiteboards make it like the experience. If you go into this video, go in with open heart, open mind. It's really fun because they got little whiteboards and it's a reveal. It's like I'd watch it again. I'd watch it 3 times.
Thanks. Know what else I'd watch 3 times? Our Life.
Yeah.
This play. I like how it kind of opens up. It's kind of like on a Saturn tone. It starts picking up a little bit, but after she's like, this is our life. And it's like, the audience is kind of like, I guess
they actually kind of like boo it, right? Like there's actually kind of like a, the boo going on. Someone's like, boo, this sucks, which like, I get it. It starts off a little slow. It's a slow burn. It starts off like awkward, like, oh, good, this is how it's going to go. Poor Lexi. But yeah, the R drops. Someone drops the R. It's like, oh, shit, that's the first fuck up of the evening. To be fair, the only thing that could be considered a fuck up maybe, but the crew backstage, we might not always be seeing them, but they're all rocking awesome makeup. They have the Euphoria wardrobe down. They're like in black like crew should be, but they've got glitter liner. They were all there for this play.
I could say when back in my drama club days, I was wardrobe, but yeah, our makeup was never that great. And to be honest, this is back in the early 2000s. We didn't really wear makeup all the time in school like the kids do nowadays. Our makeup consisted of maybe a little mascara and some gloss and some god-awful blue eyeshadow.
Classic. The frosty blue glitter only on the lid, and then the softened black coal eyeliner inside wrong only, and like the Maybelline pink and green mascara wand.
Why are you like attacking me?
And the Maybelline Dream Mousse foundation and concealer on a good day. Is that what you wanted to hear? Is that?
You're hurting my feelings. But I agree with Britt. Those poor IHOP waiters that Cass about to dump glitter all over those tables.
Ah, the Cass party.
Yes. Okay. So I'm assuming this is just like a nationwide thing. I'm not sure if this is just America or just worldwide. After, for our fellow former drama club kids, there's always something like, I know for us, we had like a routine. We had opening night, we'd go to one restaurant. Second night, we'd have a cast party. Then the third night, we'd go to a different restaurant, which was kind of like our little routine. I'm assuming you guys had something similar where
Denny's.
Denny's.
Yep, Denny's, especially back when you could smoke in Denny's. If you were 16, that's the place to be because you could smoke cigarettes. I would smoke Cowboy Killers. I'd smoke Marlboro Reds at those tables every day, age 16, 17, when we went to Denny's. Those were the days.
Oh, yeah. See, we were Uno's and my jam, which is Town Spa Pizza. It's a local spot, but they have like little bar style pizzas. But our cast after parties used to consist of us playing Rock Band.
Oh, yeah.
Kids.
One guy in our group had laser tag. He had like at-home laser tags up. He had like enough for 8 people to play. So whoever's house we were at and whoever's parents were okay with us hanging out in their beautiful furnished little basement, whichever person had the basement and whose house we were at, that's where we played the laser tag.
I love it. Hopefully Lexi, well, I hope if Lexi doesn't get to go, at least Bobby can have fun. Because I've been living for Bobby this episode, especially when like Lexi's going on her rampages backstage, and then Lexi's just sitting there like, Lexi will be really angry with you. Lexi's like, a blind 3-year-old could do your job.
I love that, like she straight up is the anger translator, and I love the way that she anger translates, and she's just like, she said, "Fucking bring it out faster." Like Bobby's the shit. I loved her green little flick eyeliner. It was so beautiful, so cute. And I do think she's going to have a little more of a role going forward. I think Bobby's going to come in as a regular.
I hope so. I would love for her to come in as a regular, especially if we're going to lose some cast members.
Yeah. Speaking of, I really wanted to bring this up. I loved the early on scene we get of Maddy and the babysitter, where it's alluded to that she's going to go out of town and leave for college probably, or leave for school or for life after high school. And she gives her the purple dress, which is...
I loved that. When she's like, she's like, I have a gift for you. As soon as she gave her the bag, I was like, it's the dress.
Yeah.
I know it's the purple dress.
Yeah.
It's the purple dress. I hope she's wearing it next time we see Travis and they go on a fancy date.
Oh, that's got to be in the finale. Because he still wasn't fucking in this episode.
Dude, all they need to do next week is just like have him just sit in a chair, cut to him real quick just to make me happy. That's all I need.
It's got to be COVID scheduling and restrictions and shit. This was a COVID season. You know, we've seen his Dark Materials. We cover his Dark Materials over at Girls Gone Canon in the show as well. The adaptation had a lot of changes. There was a whole Lost Bottle episode that like got removed and parts of it got scrapped to the finale.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot that like we don't know what's going on behind the scenes now. That said, we've gossiped about it before. Me and you have gossiped before on here about what's going on behind the scenes. But beyond that, off the record chat that you've all heard on the record on youtube.com, there's got to be so much we don't know. And, Narcissist 97 pointed out, we haven't gotten McKay yet. That's because we did. We got him. That was it. It's over. Next. Yeah. That's it, I think. Yeah. I really think that's it.
Honestly, with McKay, I really didn't expect him much this season. I kind of had said it in like, when I was doing like my kind of getting ready for season 2 trailer breakdown, mostly based on the fact he is in college.
College is an easy out for this.
It is a very easy out. Him and Cassie broke up. They kind of brought him in the premiere, wrap that up, send him on his way.
I think that's it.
Unless somebody really just goes to the same school as McKay, they bring him back. But
we could get like so Cal, we got that flashback with Cal later, or not flashback, it's a dream sequence, whatever, nightmare sequence, and we'll talk about it. But like, I didn't expect to see him again except for the flashbacks. And yeah,
that makes sense. But Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see much of McKay, unfortunately or fortunately. I don't know. However you felt about McKay, I was never really fully like, yeah,
It's
with
fine.
him.
I'm like,
Yeah. I like his
it's fine.
brothers. Bring his brothers back. His brothers were
They were
hilarious. The
funny. They
twins.
were
I love the
funny.
twins. They were great. I want to see more of the twins. Actually, let's make them a focus for season 3. But
Well, and with this being like Degrassi 2.0, what with it being like Drake on EP
oh
and
yeah,
it being by A24, I
oh,
mean, so
yeah,
like, what with it being A24 Degrassi, like, I wonder, since we have a season 3 for sure, does
yep.
that mean that they're going to try to bring in a different generation slowly but surely and pepper in? Like, people don't want to be on the show forever. Between the last 4 years, you got 2 seasons, and they're doing other things in between. Angus Cloud is signing on for movies left and right, which doesn't feel good for next week. Just putting that out there. So he's signing on to movies like left and right, and you have other actors getting a lot of great offers. We know that Euphoria is an extensive show that apparently for series 2 had 15 to 17-hour workdays. We might see a little changeover on set.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that going. And then honestly, Zendaya is booked and busy. Like that girl is stays working.
Yeah.
And she has a lot in the pipeline. So
Good on her.
like, personally, like I don't think we're getting another season next year. I think it might be another 2-year break just to
Yeah.
accommodate her filming schedule alone.
Well, so
But
here's
I'd
the other
rather
deal
not.
is Nate and Cassie are seniors this year.
And Maddy,
Maddy, it seems Maddy's being written to be senior as well. So Nate,
yeah.
Cassie, Maddy are out. We could get rid of Jacob. No offense, Jacob, but I think you might be constricting some storytelling here and there. And that's all the tea that I have on that. But get rid of Jacob. Alexa Demi, I mean, she should be out there kicking ass. I hope that she goes where the rainbow wind takes her and gives her all the money in the pot of gold. And Sydney Sweeney might stay on, might not, whatever, figure it out. But like those 3 out leaves a good chunk of space for the plot to erupt. So I wonder, I mean, you had the test, the testing grounds didn't go great this season. If you look at Elliot and you look at Travis, those
Yeah.
characters did not take off. So we're not growing a lot of fruit here unless we're really hoping that they're going to be a season 3 staple, each or one of them.
Yeah, I enjoyed Elliot for what we have had of him. I do kind of want to see more of where he might go, but yeah, it's looking slow. But speaking of looking and slow, back to the play. Well, actually, a little bit sidestep the play, a little out of the play. But I want to bring up Lexi and Fez's conversation before we really get into the play, where she's like, what if people don't like it and they think that, my intentions are bad? And he's like, well, it, depends on the play. But I will say, if I was going to a play and I didn't know it was about me, I'd have some questions to ask. But he does give her a little bit of more reassurance because she does seem like she says in the play, she gets in her own mind a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, he has that scene where they're just like talking on the phone and it's like, she's like, what if Cassie's upset? And he's like, well, some people deserve to get their feelings hurt. And I was like, yes. Sorry for you that weren't listening. I was pointing at the camera saying, yes, I agree. They do, especially Cassie.
I love that there was this great stoner moment where Fez is like, wait, what was the question again? That was so great, so on point. Characters are true to themselves here.
Yes, it was.
I'm like, wait, what was the question again, man? Me halfway through a point. Wait, what was the question?
What was I talking about? I love that. I love that.
I did love that. Very realistic. I love that Rue said they talked every day on the phone for months. For months. So this episode is doing a lot of backfilling that, like, they are very much so building a friendship and relationship. They're very, very close, very intimate. And especially with the way it translates into the only Fez scene or Fez-ish scene in the play, or the scene that Fez is near with her and her intimate relationship with Rue before her dad leaves and before Rue's dad passes away. and they're on top of Fez's shop, right?
Yes.
Which the real life translation that goes from that is that Lexi smokes for the first time later on, like flashback right after that, later on at Fez's with Rue. It's like just beautifully done to show like the preteen and then the after and what really happened.
I
What a
love
great
that.
retcon.
Yeah, and I like that they added the them doodling on her face, and he's like, "Yo,
And
she
the
looks
Bob
like a Bob
Ross.
Ross." Which, if you remember from season 1, the Halloween episode, she went as Bob Ross. But the way he wakes up, he's like, "Bobby, Bobby, there's a fire. We gotta go. We gotta go." She's like, "Oh."
We've all done that. Like, first of all, where were you when you first smoked pot? You know what I mean? Like, I remember the first time I smoked marijuana.
Oh, I remember the first time I was in a public park with some friends. At the time, we're not friends anymore, but it's okay. People grow apart. It's cool.
Yeah.
No sweat off my bones. But
Our
anyways,
life.
our life. One of those friends, hopefully she doesn't get mad at me for telling you guys this, but she's probably not watching anyways. She peed her pants because she was laughing so hard while we were at the park. And then I started laughing, and I was like, "Oh my god, am I gonna pee myself?" I didn't pee myself, but it was just funny.
Yeah, we don't do that. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my god. I remember I have two like first time weed members, and the first one is buying weed at the skate park. Yes, the skateboard park, you know, like where there's
Nice.
the tubes. Buying weed from the guy that worked at the skate park in a tiny little like 1 gram bag that has
Oh,
Batman
the
print
little
all over
small
it.
plastic
Yeah,
ones.
for
Yeah.
like $10, and then we all went in the bathroom and tried to figure out how to smoke it with like a piece of paper. Like didn't get
Nice.
high. There was no way we got high. Stupid shit. We were like 13. And then I remember the first time and the person who and one of my really good girlfriends at the time, Sam, she lived in like a city over 20 minutes away. And I just remember like going to her house, and her parents just like really didn't give a rat's ass at all about what we did. And the whole basement, like we would just smoke weed in this basement of this girl's house, like 15, 16 years old. And there's no way you don't know that your child is smoking pot with 5 people in the basement of your house, and they just ignored it. They just like straight up like robot Lori style look past it like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Were they those parents that like, I'd rather you do it here than do it somewhere else parents? It seems like it.
Yeah, I think so. And like now as an adult, that's fine. But that was also the first friend group that like, I get it. You know, Lexi starts it just like Stand By Me. We were 5 best friends, you know, in the beginning. And it's very much like this friend group. We had a duct tape roll and a Sharpie around. So whenever anyone said something stupid, you wrote it on the duct tape and you stuck it to the wall. And then we always remembered these stupid times we had smoking pot in someone's basement with each other. Like, you know, it was one of those. It is something like very perks of being a wallflower, you know, very in that moment. We were infinite, whatever. And there was a lot of that, I feel like, in this play. Like it actually, again, I think it did more good for characters, for their characterization. Cassie, the relationship.
Cassie's introduction in the play.
The angel wings.
When she comes down, and I love how like they have that like nice little fourth wall breaking moment when she's like, I'm doing a play here, Grace. Well, Hallie, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Play girl. We're doing a play, but just the way she like comes down. And she's like, oh, my defining moment was when my sister hit puberty. And she, just the way she's like, I look hideous. And we've seen like shots of Cassie and Lexi having those same moments where Lexi's like, you look amazing. What are you talking about? Please stop. Anything. Everybody's always told you look great. And I just love the way they captured that.
I love the in 433 days, I would look exactly like her. And then 433 days later, the funniest shit. And that's the thing is like, I love that it wasn't like a I hate Cassie fest, which I think is worse for Cassie, right? Yeah. The fact that it was the truth, that it was about a loving and complicated relationship with her best friend and worst enemy, her sister, under a household where it all sucked. And that was sadder, like Lexi showing the loving times a long time, the sad times, like all of that pain and hurt, and how much she idolized her big sister. She wanted to be, she wanted Cassie to think she was special, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she wanted to be loved by Cassie too. They were both trying to fill that kind of hole in different ways. And there was that moment where you see the memory from her angle of Cassie and her dad, right, in the car. And you see her crying and you see her pain and you see Cassie look at her out of the corner of her eye. And it's the same look they've exchanged many times where they both see what's happening and the pain that the other is experiencing. And they both look away and shove it in a different cabinet for another day because they know they can't. If they have to keep it on, they can't.
And with that scene, what I really liked is like before they even get in the car, Lexi's like, I don't think we should do this. I have a bad feeling about this because clearly their dad is like high. Mm-hmm. Like he's sleeping in a park in the middle of the day. Dude's high. And Cassie is just like, you know what? We don't want him to feel bad. But Lexi being the reasonable one where it's like, should we be concerned about the way he feels or our actual physical safety right now? Because I think our physical safety is a little bit more important. But that goes to show you the difference between the two sisters is Cassie's more concerned about feelings and making people feel loved, herself feeling loved and all that good stuff. Lexi's more so logical, where she's like, yeah, no, we should probably call mom to come pick us up because it's an awful idea. And then she wastes her little ice cream.
It falls over and melts.
It looked like a mint chocolate chip or something, and then just
Darius just said in the chat, the line was so sad. I don't want him to think we don't trust him. And so now let's pair that for a second. Everyone put your thinking caps on to her in the truck with Nate, letting him speed, going 100 miles per hour, 110 down the road, and her, you know, flaunting herself out of the window and flaunting her body. Like that's why Cassie does the thing she does right there. I don't want him to think we don't trust him.
Exactly.
And it's not even just to like please him and make him love her more. It's also like to prevent the anger that she thinks might follow.
Yeah. I could see that. Oh, somebody's trying to hang out. Wait, guys.
Oh, Axel like Cassie in the bathroom right now.
Axel's just like Cassie right now. He's crying. Axel's a Cancer moon and Cancer rising, so they all love to cry.
Oh shit! Oh my god! And it makes sense. Oh god!
But speaking of things in families and moms, Suze's reactions
when Suze turns to the chick next to her and is like, that's supposed to be me. That's my mom. That's my mom. I was like, okay, Shell.
That's my mom. That's me.
Like, and do you wonder why I had Ethan portray you with big titty on? Do you know why he's acting the way he is on stage, mother? That's what I would want to say to Suze at that moment. I'm like,
I loved it. Just the way he comes in. Like, I messaged in our group chat so quick. I was like, Ethan is Suze. I was excited.
2 minutes behind, so I did get spoiled because of you, but that's okay because I fucking ate the whole episode. So thank you. I ate. Ethan,
good scene.
Show stealer. He was so funny. Even when, like, again, Cassie coming down with the wings behind her in the thing and her just stepping off fresh from puberty, and then like that him coming out and being like, no baby's got knockers as big as that. I love that your reaction was Ethan is Suze, LOL, and then I go into the chat immediately after into our group chat and was like, Sydney Sweeney's boobies, I could live there. I could live in those things. Both of them, both fake Sydney Sweeney and real Sydney Sweeney in this, they just have some pillows going on. And I was like, even Ethan's pillows, those look good. I could sleep on any of those characters. This might be a me thing.
Actually, it just reminded me of when it cuts to after the 433 days later, where she's like, it cuts between her, like the reality, and then like the transition we brought up earlier, how it's Cassie, then it switches to the actress that plays Hallie, where she's like, They might get bigger, right? Talking about her boobs, and she's like,
No, they're
no,
fully
they're fully
formed.
formed. I wanted to pass out when she said that because that is such a big sister ass statement to make, which is also a lie. They're not fully formed when you're in high school.
That's such a lie because I thought mine were. I was worried of that same thing, and they got bigger. I just had to drink a lot of alcohol all the time.
I was gonna say women actually hit like another puberty, like in your 20s.
Yeah.
Like it's like a second puberty. It comes out of nowhere. So if you're listening to this and it hasn't happened yet, it might happen.
It could still happen. It could still
happen.
It might not, but it could still happen.
It could. You never know. But know what? I actually did want to talk about is speaking of puberty, when she comes out, how she thought she was going to hit puberty. I loved it with the wig, the yassification of Lexi was
that and the
everything.
mattification are everything this episode.
Yes.
And like the scene with the guys sitting around smoking in their backyard with the flamingo and the beer, like
Ethan.
I should have fucked her. I should have fucked Lexi Howard in high school, man. What a bummer. Amazing. Just brilliant. That was cinema.
That was
cinema.
Ethan. Yeah. Ethan does it again. Which kind of goes to show, I saw somebody say this on Twitter, so I'm not gonna act like it was originally my idea. But yeah, if Kat was just honest and open about the role playing she was into, Ethan would have been, he could have done Khal Drogo. He could have done
He's proving himself right now. He is absolutely.
Yes, he's a thespian. I love him.
Oh, Ethan, he went for the Ethan got, you know?
The Ethan got.
The Ethan got.
What I thought was super funny though, because we love our behind the scenes, but Maud Apatow, the actress who plays Lexi, she was sharing about how they had a high school production and she was a producer on it and how she was a tyrant. So essentially they played that up with how she acts backstage.
Oh,
but when she gives the note to the actress that's playing Cassie, and she's like, are you crying over a directorial note? I was like, oh my God, but she's in character because Cassie would cry over a directorial note. She's doing such a great job. She's just not breaking her character. Like, I was so proud of her.
Yeah, her fourth wall breaking is on point the entire time, really on point. And sometimes it's like cheesy on purpose, like intentionally cheesy it's supposed to be, but then sometimes it's actually really eloquently done. I do love that. I actually and again, I think the way that we end this episode, it is technically the intermission, it seems, or like about intermission, right? To be continued, that's intermission. So I think there's more, and how it'll be juxtaposed is going to be interesting, but we aren't at the dirt yet. We're not quite at the dirt, and we're not quite at the dirt of this episode either.
Yeah, actually, I want to let's get to the dirt.
Go in.
I want to talk about I just want to talk about all the Fez Faye household stuff right now. Let's get that out of the way. When Faye's steaming his clothes,
so sweet,
and helping him get ready,
it's really
like,
sweet.
Tie, no tie, and she's like, "You look really handsome," and he's like, "Do you think somebody else will think I'm handsome?"
There's something really interesting in Faye putting his clothes on for him and helping him like with steaming and doing it and trapping him in those clothes, like with what's about to go on with the betrayal that's going on with Custer and like everything with what's about to unfold next episode, whatever it may be, whatever it's going to be, as we have ideas and speculations. Like she's entrapping him in those clothes. She's the one putting him in the suit, very Godfather style, you know, like putting him in just those trappings of power of the suit that he's probably gonna die in prison, lose his brother, maybe keep his brother, maybe not, you know, like all this shit, horrible, yep, as Narcissist 97 just said in chat, preparing Jesus for sacrifice, not unlike the shot of Elliot under the cross.
Yeah,
right. Very, just as she says nothing, because I want to be really clear that like Faye saying nothing, I will not ever hold that against her. Like as somebody who is, you know, has no protection. Custer was her protection before. And not that she shouldn't maybe change her life and her path That's a different talk I should have with Faye. Okay, that's like a whole nother story. But she's in survival mode, and like, yes, Fez has been open-hearted, kind, and generous to her, and taken her in because she probably was about to get assaulted by that manager she murdered, right? Like, I think we're all on that same page that something was happening and he was trying to get at her. She obviously self-defensed him. But like, even though Fez has done that, like, that's not shit. She still doesn't know him. It's only been like 2 months. And especially for someone who like likely is bartering for drugs in many aspects, likely is the kind of person that Lori has talked about trying to make Rue into, right, in passing in her episodes. Like, Faye just doesn't have protection, and I don't know. I don't know that I could ever blame her for not warning them. And because of her straying and like staying in the hall and looking at Ashtray, looking him in the eye, she still did warn them in that way. It's not quite direct. It's still passive, and it's still her withholding information, but she still like tried to make it known something was up for Ashtray there.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at Maud Mary's comment. I'm saying Fez may get arrested, but Ashtray is going to stab Custer and get shot by the coos. The cops. I'm assuming that's what that was, a typo. But I wholeheartedly agree. Just because Ashtray clearly knows something's up. He constant vigilance.
Constant vigilance.
Well, it's Maddy Moody. Yeah.
And then he would turn him into a ferret.
If only he could turn Custer into a ferret, that'd be nice.
If that was Ashtray's power, he wouldn't have to get dead.
I know.
I worry it's Ashtray and that Fez is just going to get imprisoned. You know?
I could definitely see them killing off Ashtray in the sense of, let's be real with each other. Like, and by with each other, I mean everybody that's watching this with us.
What is he going to do?
Ashtray has committed murder.
Many times, easy.
Yes, this has probably been multiple. I don't think Mouse was the first murder he committed. He's done multiple assault things, and you keep putting out all that negative energy, it's eventually going to find its way back into your life.
Look, Ash is a ride or die, but sometimes that involves dying. Yeah, riding or dying.
Yes, I definitely think Ashtray is definitely gonna slit Custer's throat or stab him.
I hope
he
so.
knows.
Real talk.
He knows something's up just because the way he put the phone down, the look between Faye and him, and like he's like, all right, buddy. I'm just gonna just a look he gives him when he like sits down. He kind of like sits down like a grandpa, but like a middle-aged man. He's just like puts the seat up and just sits there with his sweatsuit on, and it's like doesn't like shiv up his sleeve like he's about to do something with it, which he is going to do something with it, and I'm pretty positive Custer's going.
You know, I hope they at least take Custer out because I don't need that snake around. You
know?
No, and there's a comment I have to say. Narcissist 97 pointing out, we're really going to watch a child get shot on Euphoria, though. Yes, Sam Levinson is sitting there stroking himself, going, "This is genius. Only I could have thought of this." Like, that would be the most shock factor. Here's how Euphoria season 2 could still win. Like, I'm just saying that is the show we're watching, right? Like, that is, they like the shot. The very first episode, as you sit there and Jules cuts open her arm, right? And you're like, "Meh!" Like, that made me screech. That is part of the show. Again, look at Dick Rossi, right? Like, Terry almost dying, going into a coma because of Rick, the school shooter. I'm just saying there are greats that have already happened on TV. My So-Called Life, when Jordan Catalano. Anyways, we're getting off topic, but
Jordan Catalano can't read. Side note. But here's Jesse. I agree. Ashtray is just as ruthless as his grandmother, and look where she's at.
Okay.
Exactly.
Horrible.
But alive. So anything is possible. But another reason I could see them killing off Ash is based on the fact that the actor Javon Wana is his nickname because he wanna do everything and he's great at everything. Like Euphoria is just like a side job for him. He's like a amazing gymnast, boxer, like he's training to be like an Olympian one day. So I could see him being like, this was fun. Thanks for the exposure, but I got training to go do, and kind of like focusing more on that. Because I can imagine this takes a lot of time out of his training schedule.
Yeah, and the other thing is like it doesn't have a good connecting piece. Like the smarter thing would have been to make him be in Gio's year. That would have been the smartest thing to do, is have him be Gia's age, but that wouldn't work for the child assassin kind of Arya Stark vibes given off, right?
Oh yeah.
Is there gold in the village? How much? Ashtray.
Oh my gosh, I just realized because Fez is also a redhead like Sansa.
Oh my god, that's the real Sansa and Arya. Here I was like Lexi and Cassie, but nope, that's it. That's it. Fezco and Ash. That is like they have that similar that bond. But no, that is I think that he'll move on because they're all everybody, especially the secondary characters. And I do think that if you're in a show like this with recurring episodes, you have a better chance at getting a better hook on things if you're a secondary character, right? Like,
yeah,
Zendaya doesn't need help getting gigs right this moment. She's good. She's Gucci. But like a supporting character has a lot of opportunity to shine and sparkle for anything and has a bigger schedule to be able to do so too. So good on them. Good on them.
Yeah, I like that for them. They're all doing well.
That's the point of taking a Euphoria job where you weren't even supposed to be past the first season, right? Like, they didn't really have like a planned goal for Fez past season 1, for example. So, I mean, you sign on for temporary work, you see where the muse takes you. If you do good, you stay.
Exactly. And it's, I mean, hopefully we'll see what happens next week. But we do get left on another Fez cliffhanger, essentially, where he's like, I'm going to head out. And Custer's like, oh, where are you going? To a party? Or he's like, none of your business. He's like, why is everything okay? And then it just like goes back to the play. But before we even, there is that moment where Lexi, like when Custer actually enters, is when Lexi says, I always get like these bad feelings, like, or like ominous feelings before something bad's about to happen. And I'm like,
I appreciate that like Lexi's narration on that almost tends to be like her actually thinking seems to actually be a little omniscient in that it could be also encompassing next episode, right? Like it seems we're hearing it as it happens. And there was something in that with Fez that like Lexi is his weakness. It is his Achilles heel. And that was made apparent that Fez probably would have been more on his shit and noticed something was up with Custer just chilling in his living room, high as shit, just hanging out, smoking a blunt in his living room with no one checking him. Fez would have noticed that and been like, yo, I don't like that you're here. Yo, you need to leave. Or be like, yo, what are you doing? But his mind is taken up by Lexi. His mind is not there. He's not on it. As he rolls up with his full tux, he's about to get his bouquet. He's like, yo, is something wrong? Something wrong?
Yeah. Especially when Custer's just like, yeah, well, I guess I'll just hang here. And it's like, I just said I'm going somewhere. Ash doesn't like you. Well, Ash doesn't like anybody really, but he doesn't like you. What are you just gonna hang here with your girlfriend? Why don't you go take her out the house? Go take her to get something to eat. Like, get out of here. That's how I feel. If I were him, I'd be like, I know I'm leaving, but what do you mean?
That's the thing is like, why are you still here? And obviously we know why he's there. He set up his recording device. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to get shit for the feds for this. Like, that's my out. I mean, I like that the Fez plot adds like that substance of Sopranos, Godfather, fucking, mobster shit on the underneath while you have high school shit happening at the same time. Again, suspension of disbelief. But I do like the way that we're cutting the Glee vibes with that suspense.
And speaking of Glee vibes, I think we kind of talked about what's going on over in that household. I want to get back into the play.
Yeah, let's get back to Maddy and Cassie because that's the next big thing, right?
When they become friends and they enter their freshman year. And I love the scene with them cheering to Oops, Oh My by
Missy.
Tweet.
Yeah.
By Tweet and Missy Elliott. I love that song. It's my jam. But I love that scene because we get to see it looks like Maddy's like really, really warming up to things, but at the same time also very, very sad. And
Yeah.
how we get to the scene with them in the house and we finally get the kind of the continuation of after Rue's like, Cassie, how long have you been fucking Nate Jacobs? And like she chases after her and she's like crying at the door. That scene broke my heart when she's like, he's after all he's done to me and he took my best friend too. I can't take any more of this.
And
And
that's
then
before the gun.
it's
That's
before the
before the
gun.
gun. My poor daughter. Oh my God. I have to go
Like,
get her. I have to go. Can you do
like, because yeah, the gun incident was what the very next day. It seems like time wise,
just when she thought it was the lowest. And like that is the most fucked up part too, is that Cassie doesn't know that part.
Not at all. And obviously Maddie's not gonna tell her, but like
no, they won't be chatting about many things, I don't think, for a long time.
No, and that shit really hurt to watch, especially like Maddie's clearly going through a lot. Dealing with an abusive ass boyfriend like Nate is one thing. But to have like I couldn't imagine that feeling of just feel like everything's crumbling down around you and this person that's been abusing you physically also like takes your best friend, which is like another form of like abuse in a way where it's like more like emotional and mental abuse.
That's what sucks so bad, is that like Cassie doesn't understand that she's being groomed by Nate for further abuse, like in that same exact way of isolation, right? Like it's a classic Littlefinger Sansa in the way of like Littlefinger plants regicide on Sansa and then isolates her so that she's made to believe she's worthless and that if she says anything, she's in trouble. Everyone, Arah has to hug baby boy. Oh, there he is. Hey, handsome.
All right. Good night.
Bye, handsome. It's my man.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like she doesn't understand what's happening is the same signs of being groomed for that abuse, and like that she's willingly being like, yes, isolate me, fuck me up, daddy. Like that's really what she's saying, and like she doesn't understand that those are the things that continue that cycle of abuse.
Okay. So I'm torn with that. So I'm assuming we're talking about that scene where she's telling Nate like, you can dress me, do this to me, do that to me, blah 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 blah. It's
Just
super cringe.
me.
I'm not gonna line by line it for you guys. It's a very cringy scene, but I thought it was very, how do I put it? She knows what Nate likes. Nate is very big into control. Nate loves control. So for him to be able to like, for her to relinquish all that control to him is something that like completely turns Nate on. Nate lives for that type of sick shit. Like that is Nate's complete wheelhouse, is control. And we kind of see that when we cut in, I know you guys were talking about in the chat earlier with the nightmare sequence where he kind of goes in between like, it cuts between like Cassie, Maddy, Jules, and then ends up turning into his dad at some point. But the big thing he had with his dad, well, there's a lot of daddy issues with Nate, let's be honest. But I think another big thing with those daddy issues was a control thing. Is like when we saw when his dad kind of got the physical upper hand against him and he just starts banging his head against the floor last season because of the control. Like he doesn't have that type of control. And I think that just drives him insane. Okay, so I'm seeing some stuff in the chat. I'm not sure if that's what happened there. I think Nate killed the little brother that we don't know about.
God damn it, Arah. But even
Throwing it
without
out there.
that.
But no,
but
even
I
without
am
that,
seeing a lot
yeah.
of comments like that they're the same age, so you can't groom someone who's the same age as you, which that's not actually true. Anyone can be groomed, whether there's an age discrepancy or not, very easily, especially if there is a power difference or imbalance. So like let's just knock that one out for a minute. Let's just let that one be on the back burner. It doesn't matter how old you are. And he is treating her the same way that his dad treated him.
Yeah.
I mean, his dad controlled a lot of aspects of his life, and the abuse that Nate suffered from his dad and the control that his dad exerted onto him. Hurt people hurt people. That phrase, I know it's fucking cliche, but it's cliche for a reason, because they do. And
They do.
exerting that same level of control and that want of control, that's what gets him hard, dude. Like that's his thing. That's the difference between what Lexi put onto a stage that she did not know, she does not understand, because she did not have the full story, and it was not correct. It was not accurate to Nate's experience. Like, Nate's real experience is that fucked up nightmare that his dad has controlled every aspect of his being, everything. And that's what gets Nate hard now.
Yeah, because figured like kind of bringing it back to like the play for a second. I can't wait for us to really go into that scene a little bit more. But with what she knows, that's because we had Maddy kind of running around like, oh, well, not running around, I should say. She told Cassie when they were like tripping on Molly, like, yeah, I found a bunch of like dick pics in Nate's phone. Isn't that weird? And then she goes, tells Cassie. Cassie just blah, 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 to a couple other people. And that's kind of where it started off as. So a lot of people were thinking Nate's like on the low.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why we get that big old musical number. And I could see why it would offend him. But at the same time, fuck Nate Jacobs. But I don't know. I feel, Sam, stop making me try to feel bad for Nate, because I don't. Every time you try to think I feel bad for him, I stop myself and remember what he did to Maddy.
That is like the heart, and that's something that I really love that the play like so far has actually showcased, is especially with Maddy. Like, you actually see the start of the story. The fur coat is in there. We get the fur coat scene. She gets her Sharon Stone coat. She there were actually some great casino-esque kind of shots going on, but it was a really great shot of her getting the coat under the lamplight, and Lexi narrating. And I actually really love the scene we get of Maddy and Lexi, that kind of flashback that may or may not have been happening in the play, of Maddy doing her makeup, mattification, the complete mattification of Lexi, the complete Lexification of Euphoria. I love it. I did love that scene, because it was very like, it passed the Bechdel test, right? Like they were just doing each other's makeup, hanging out. I love that.
And they're talking about confidence. And one thing I liked that she said about why Maddy like intimidated her at first, and it was based on the fact that Maddy is just so sure of herself and confident. And obviously for Lexi, she's not confident. Cassie, even though Cassie is obviously like the very super beautiful big sister, Cassie clearly isn't confident within herself at all. As we could see, like bringing it back to her and Nate, when we see them walking into the hallway for the first time as a couple publicly, and Maddy makes that remark like, oh, at least she looks the part. And I'm pretty positive it's because Nate dressed her. But besides the point there. But Maddy is still super confident in herself, even though this season it seems like she was having a little bit of a lack of confidence, more so in her relation to Nate. Like when we had that scene with her and Jules where she's like, I think I might get back with him. And she's like, I wish you saw you the way we all do. And I think it's just that she's lonely. It's her first time being like single. It seems like her and Nate have been an on and off again thing since they were like freshmen in high school. So it's been a couple years. It seems like the only guy she's really like seriously dated. So I think just letting go of him and trying to find herself again is kind of where we're at with her. But I like that Kat's there for her.
I have to say, the best part of that for me, like, I love the juxtaposition of Maddy getting the dress from her employer, who's saying, hey, you've done a great job and I know you love this dress, so here, I'm giving this to you for your hard work and I wish you well. And Minka Kelly's character is saying to her, like implying you leaving and going and finding your dream and leaving this town, not unlike with not unlike with Cal Jacobs telling Jules about how shitty this town is, but that he hopes she stays. Minka Kelly says to Maddy, I love you, I believe in you, go follow your dreams with this fucking beautiful purple dress. And that compared to where Maddy with Nate in the musical being given, or in the play, whatever, being given the fur coat, and like Nate, who has all these fucking like check marks to cross to be with him, and like you have to do this, this, this. My control about when you leave, where you leave, what you do is necessary. And she says to Minka Kelly, I'm worried about telling him, Minka Kelly's son, that I'm leaving. And it's like a normal, healthy relationship there, like that she's being told, like, I'm proud of you, go chase your dreams, you need to get out of this town, you're not staying for him. And even though they keep saying him and it's Minka Kelly's kid, it's about Nate. It's not about the kid, it's about Nate. So like Maddy's no longer gonna hold herself back. That was a healthy scene. And like Maddy's character is not gonna play that game for much longer. Like she's done with that. And I think that was really healthy for her.
I do too, especially where it seems like this is definitely like senior year. So I imagine with season 3, that would probably take us up to graduation. Which we're kind of at that stage now that we're probably early
spring,
February, maybe March right now.
I think we're March, April.
So we should probably be getting, obviously next season, probably getting more into like the character going to college, blah, blah, blah. If they choose to do so, who's doing what. I
was surprised about the Maddy college illusion going on. I was like, oh, there is kind of a direction.
Yeah, because it didn't seem like Maddy. I think Maddy in her head, like obviously before things really, really started going south with Nate, thought, well, Nate's probably going to graduate, may or may not go to college. It seems like he's just going to get into the family business. I don't really need to go to college if he does that because I could just marry him and be like Marsha and just stay home and live this fabulous rich lady life. But as she sees with Samantha, she got a bigger house than Nate's parents. So I don't know. Travis might become a famous producer. We're just really just shipping this Maddy Travis thing, guys. So they're not done with that ship. It's still it's docked in the harbor.
It had like this fun convents playing back and forth. It was great.
Yeah, it's gonna come back. Don't you guys worry. But I do want to get to Kat for a second. Somebody pointed it out earlier, and I'm so sorry I forgot who it was. I meant to pull it up sooner, and we just weren't there yet. We haven't gotten Kat's reaction yet. Like the only reactions we've gotten were like, I do like there is. I forgot after which scene it is. We see Nate whisper to Cassie, and then we see Kat whispering to Maddy at the same time, like the way they shot it. You can kind of see them like whispering to each other. But that's kind of it. And even in the play, Kat's character has like a line.
I loved the back and forth. It was the scene where they're on their phones. Actually, this is the funniest scene like in the whole thing. It's me. It was me. Lexi's sitting there basically going on like, as you take those selfies on Snapchat and Instagram and use those filters, they're downloading your face shape so that they can sell them to Amazon, to other third-party contractors that work with the government so that the government can buy your faces and commit like mass war and genocide, is basically what she was very softly metaphorically alluding to, right? And Kat is like, I don't think taking a selfie is like gonna end civilization, Lexi. And Lexi's like, yeah, but eventually like it will. So like right now it might not, but maybe down the line, Kat. And that was the funniest thing I've ever, like it was,
I loved it.
Very meta.
It was.
But
it's also very true. Lexi. It's also very Lexi like she's always like coming with like actual facts, and they're all just like, you're being a party pooper. Can you not right now? That's kind of the vibes I was getting. But with Kat, since she essentially was not in this season as much as we would like, but we've brought that up almost every episode, so we'll just leave that there. But I do like, it does look like Cat is back. Kitty Cat is back. She is ready to take all of our monies. She wants you to buy things off her Amazon wish list for her. The mask is out. The webcam is up and running. Maybe she's got an OnlyFans now.
You know, she's got new tiers on Patreon.
She does have new tiers on her private Patreon for adult content. But yes, she's back. And honestly, I feel like
Ethan got more stage time this season than her.
He really did. He really did. Because I've been seeing a lot of like people complaining, like, so this is all we're getting. She did all that just to go back to like, guys, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that clearly was happening with Kat's storyline, but Kat's single again. She's back to sex work, even though I don't know why we're applauding that for a minor, but she's 18 now, more power to her, I guess. Whatever. This is
But
like, if you're an adult, I don't give a crap if you're an adult that's a sex worker.
That's your choice.
That is your choice. She's a minor. Let's just always keep that context in mind when we're discussing that, because I think it's
that voice and like the call from season 1. It's too bad that didn't amount to anything.
Yes.
It's too bad, you know, like it is a bummer that didn't amount to anything, that weird voice, because like it is like very, and especially because this season we're playing so much with the idea of trafficking, so maybe he will bring it all back together, but it is a shame. It's a shame the way that plot kind of went off the road, because it could have actually meant something, but she's back at it now. She's back to sex work. And we'll
single
see.
And again, back on the prowl.
Exactly. And there's also like some fudging with the ages going on for everybody, I feel like, in this. Because again, like in season 1, canonically, oh my God, Eliana.
I watched Inventing Anna, because I know we talked about last time. I did watch it.
Good.
I did watch it. So the weird voice was Anna Delvey, as this
was Delvey was her.
I can't do that accent. I don't know if she could even do that.
And
accent.
I'm sure as shit the voice coming from that screen promised her that she had a wire. You know, I'm sure as shit. I do like think there's a lot of fudging of the ages going on, and that like we didn't know anything but Nate and Cassie are technically seniors and everyone else was juniors. Like we didn't have anything else going on. So now I think he's changing some of the things. Fezco's age is a questionable one. Like, was it 19? Is it 21? Is it 20? Who knows? Whatever. I dated a 21-year-old in high school, so I get it, Lexi. You know, you're just, as everyone says, you have an old soul. You're just more mature. That's what they tell girls.
Oh, know? Yeah. Red flags. But I would say, like, for me, what it seems like the age groups is like Cassie, Nate, Maddy, and Kat, all seniors. Just from based on when she's like, oh, my sister and her best friend, and then her best friend's best friend. So to me, it seemed like they were like all the same peer group, and then that would make like Lexi, Rue, and the Jules the year under them.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't it's weird. This is like the most we've ever seen them in school this season.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
Amber McCarran actually said, why did they show Nate's weird dream alongside Kat dancing? And I will say it's like the fantasy, right? Like Kat is returning to the fantasy and escapism, and like then they're showing Nate's weird escapism, which is Cassie, right? Like Cassie is the weird escapism, but also kind of Maddy, also Jules flashing in front of us, and then it's really his dad's oppression bearing down on him. That end of that dream with Cassie looking up all just angelic, her like, at least I'm loved, which doesn't work out at the end. But at least I'm loved. That's Gone Girl as shit.
Yeah, it did. It was giving me Gone Girl. Like the
like,
oh, she crazy. I mean, she did say she was crazy. And then that shot that we get of her that I thought was, oh Jesus, what is this? Sorry. Some threw me off in the chat. That was really, really weird name. Hi. I want to bring up the scene we get with Cassie when she runs out the first time to go compose herself in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
That scene was so good because she's like going from like crying to like smiling and like
the Joker. Oh
okay,
man,
I'm okay. Don't I look great? Uh-huh.
the fucking range,
Yes.
right? The absolute range of it all. I gotta appreciate Sydney Sweeney. Like Cassie may not have had the most intellectual material for all of us this series. She may not have had the best stuff this season, but she's killing it as a teenage 16-year-old girl. Like
She
she's
is.
killing it as like a 17-year-old, whatever. Just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
8 syllables for one word with 2 syllables is sending me. It's so teenage, and her crying in the mirror.
Yeah. I like the Cassie Coward instead of Cassie Howard. Yes, we are for now calling her Cassie Coward. But yes, it really, I agree, Ariel. It shows how damaged Cassie is.
Yeah.
Like she's absolutely like holding it together by threads. And then when we get
she's being torn between her family and Nate, right? Like that's the biggest string through all of this. Like when we actually get her finally like leaving and Nate like storming off and being all like, this is your sister and your fault because it's your sister. Because that's logical, even though you and your sister reportedly don't have a great relationship, which all of us know. Very logical. I'm mad. That's Nate. That's what he said.
Yeah, I'm like, Nate, maybe because I've been here this whole time while she's been, rehearsing and writing, and I haven't been there for any of that shit.
I've been busy with your dick in my mouth, right?
Like, clearly.
Like what you think I've been busy sitting there whispering in her ear? No, I just lived there and now I live here and now I blow you every day. Like I will say, like, what? Out of line as usual, Jacobs.
Yeah.
But that shot when she finally leaves, when she gets up and leaves, it's Carrie, baby. It's straight Carrie, her
with
in
the
halls.
glass like fogging.
Yeah.
And she's just like staring at, oh my God, she's
her
I'm
silhouette
so
in the hall. And then the promo has Maddy chasing after her barefoot.
Yes.
And Kat with her. And like that's giving Carrie as well. Very, very dark. Horror teenage girl, even some Jennifer's Body going on there. Great.
Yes.
Amazing.
I can't not wait for that scenes next week. I'm hoping we finally get the showdown we've all been waiting for, aka I want to see Maddy beat some butt. But before we actually get into the Maddy beating some butt, I did want to bring up how you were talking about her being pulled between her family and Nate. That scene that we talked about earlier where like the Howard family's like dancing and stuff like in the play. And you see Suze crying, you see Cassie crying, but you see Cassie look to Suze. And then she's just like, and then just like turns back into Nate. And it's like, go hug your mom.
I was like, if this doesn't drive you back, girl, this is a blessing. You have been given a blessing that Nate told you to get your shit and get out. Go home. Yep. Go home, Cassie. I'm telling you, as your adoptive mother, go the fuck home. Go home.
Yes, please go home.
Girlfriend.
Like, please just go. We need her.
He's never going to treat you right. I think that's, you got to go. You got to learn it. She got to learn it. Otherwise, this is it forever for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Cassie, we want so much more for you. But I want to talk, since we're talking about Nate going home, let's talk about how I think we all could use a hero in our lives. I think we all could. And that hero.
I need a hero. Oh my God. It was definitely
a number. I loved it. I know people are complaining about it. I was living for it. I loved every minute of it.
It was so camp. It was great. It was
campy and great.
It was actually very much like 1979's All That Jazz. If you've ever seen it, it's got the same choreography. It's got a lot of great, like fantastical music numbers. Honestly, all I could think about was that, like the actual lighting and choreography and all the flashy stage stuff from Bob Fosse in 1979. It was also like very Jesus Christ Superstar. It had a lot of like just really out there shit going on. And Ethan killed it. The booty shaking,
Ethan is
the
our
pelvic
hero.
thrusting, lots of. It was very satirical, and I get people might have some ruffled feathers over it, but I was cackling a little bit because it was still funny. But it is also at the same time, like, it is like that bit of toxic masculinity against white gay men, like that coming out, yada, yada, yada. Like, I get it that probably isn't helpful to anyone in Euphoria High School, East
Highland.
Whatever, Euphoria High School. I get that anyone else in Euphoria High School that maybe wants to come out might be like, so
that's
gay locker room stuff is kind of not good anymore. Is that what you're saying? You frown on it, Lexi Howard? But, if this was her one real mismove, because again, floored that the rest isn't more violent yet. Like, that there is not as much violence yet as I thought there would be. Maybe part 2 is going to be just nothing but violence is going on at Fezco's house.
Maybe she writes in Fez beating Nate's ass. Maybe.
I hope that's the finale. We deserve that.
I would love that. I would live for that. And I do understand what the complaints are in, but like,
yeah,
I will say, like, the choreographer is, a homosexual man, and I'd feel, I feel a little bit more comfortable with that, because if it was like, I am a cisgender guy and this is my take on it, I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's in the community, it's not as bad. But it is kind of like, for me to watch as a viewer, I think it's funny as shit. I loved it. But at the same time, I agree. Where was the principal during all of this? Because how this was able to be put on is insane. This is so inappropriate for a high school audience. Like, I hope they had a sign at the door, like, no children allowed under a certain age. This is like super inappropriate. But
this part especially had me like, okay, that's not gonna, that's where we draw the line. Everything else, I mean, but this is where we really draw the line.
Yeah.
I loved it though. But like, Shrek had nothing on this. Shrek had nothing on this version.
Not at all. Not at all. But this, oh yeah, no, I could see why.
Yeah.
Because if I were in the audience and I was watching this, I'd be like, okay, I know who we're talking about. Actually, the fact that as soon as Nate walked out is when they gave the standing ovation. Did anybody, you guys notice that, right?
Yeah.
Like, people were clapping, and then the minute Nate walked out the door, people turned their heads and they were like, that's when everybody started standing up and clapping. So it's like, they know who we're talking about here. It's very evident it's about Nate Jacobs. And with that being said, if I were Nate, I also would be very upset, because it does come off super homophobic if he was, if that was his sexuality. It's, I don't know, Nate's sexuality is a spectrum, as Maddy would say. So for him, I would be upset. I would be upset if that was like the case. So
at least it didn't get out that he held a gun to his ex-girlfriend's head to get a tape back of his dad fucking the chick that he kind of wants to fuck and is in love with. At least it wasn't that. On the upside, I mean, that's the only positive I have to say. Like, I'm trying to give him something here to be happy about. Because, now the whole school is like, oh, Nate Jacobs is gay. Like, that's going to be his thing in high school, which, like, it's like how Cersei does the walk of shame, right? And we're like, yes, you want Cersei to get some sort of justice for the horrible shit she did in Thrones, but the walk of shame and her walking naked through King's Landing and like breaking her body, that doesn't feel right. That's not the punishment, the justice that you want for his crimes, Exactly. I don't think mocking someone for their sexuality is the way to get justice for that. But I do also think, like, she thinks she knows, but she doesn't know. And you actually get that in the last episode where she's like, to Cassie, she's like, well, I know. Do you know? And Cassie's like, no, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I'm not telling you. And that was
Yeah.
very sister energy, right? Like that was really, well, I'm not going to tell you because you don't know. And you're not going to tell me because you don't know. So there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think she has all the details. And you see that from Fez because Fez also thinks he knows. He's like, oh yeah, I know. Fuck Nate Jacobs. I beat his ass. And
Yeah.
then Cal is like, well, I fuck Jewel. And he's like, you fuck Jewel? What the
Jewel?
fuck? So I think it's like, it's kind of also that little bit of like teenageness of you think you know shit, but you actually don't know the real extent of all the shit. I mean, and
At
maybe that's
all.
part of it. And it's also like maybe it's just homophobic and you're a teenager. I just can see the layers where it like it works, it makes sense, it blends. It's
Yeah.
not the right punishment for the right crime.
Yeah. I like the campiness of it. However, if I were at that school, I wouldn't think that was cool to out someone in that fashion. It's pretty fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty messy. But let's be real, this whole place messy as shit. Like, for the most part, but
I hope part 2 is messier.
yeah, I hope part 2 gets even messier. But that was like yeah, it is thank you. It is a very bad case of telephone.
Yes, it is. It is, which is, I guess, high school.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
Just
guess.
high school. The whole sum of high school in a nutshell. Telephone. Very he said, she said, they said. But yeah, as much as I want Nate to pay for his crimes, that just it wasn't it. It was funny as shit though. It was funny. Like I think maybe if it wasn't like mocking like just Nate, but like kind of mocking like toxic masculinity as a whole without outing Nate, I think it might have like gone off a little bit smoother to other audience members. But hey, I mean the audience loved it. It got a standing ovation going into intermission, it seems like. So
And maybe it's not intermission, like maybe it's closer to, but it seemed like it might have been.
it felt like intermission to me.
I think we're still gonna get some play next week. Like it seems like there's gonna be some like finality to it. I don't think it ended at a place. Maybe the I Need a Hero is the big showstopper end. I just don't know if that's the end. I don't know if it can be more though, because like we need an episode to end it all.
Yeah. Because we didn't get like the, woo, like the bows and stuff like that. Like I feel like there's definitely more to go in this play. Which
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to think. I think we kind of got to like all the big stuff from this episode.
I guess what was your overall favorite part of the play? Your favorite scene?
Oh, my favorite scene in the play. It definitely would have to be the Cassie's intro.
The angel.
The angel coming in. I love that scene. It was so funny.
Have you watched or listened to Mean Girls, the Broadway musical?
I have not. I've
you
seen
would
Mean
enjoy
Girls, the
it.
movie, but yeah.
Well, of course, because it's a venial sin if you haven't. But you need to listen to the musical because it's literally that, but in musical format, and it's very beautiful and expansive. I highly recommend it. If have you watched Sex Lives of College Girls?
I love that show. Yes.
You know the blonde actress Leighton, the girl that plays Leighton.
She plays Regina George.
Anyways,
I did find that out. Yes,
the musical. It reminded me of Regina George, and it reminded me of them in the musical. Like there's some scenery that's 1-1. I didn't want to bring it up as an inspiration. Maybe Sam Levinson's into it, but some Karen going on at that moment for her. I loved that. I did love that. And I loved the angelic. I think my favorite scene is the retcon that Lexi's first smoking pot was with Fezco. That's intimate. That is intimacy as a Lexco supporter, a Let's Go Lexco supporter.
Yes.
That was intimacy. That was good. That was gold.
The Pop Ross. I love that. Oh, Tina, thank you. Rue with her mom. I did want to bring that up. I had it in my notes. Totally looked over it. Thank you for a reminder.
That was sad and bittersweet. And
so beautiful. Do you believe that scene was, I personally like to think that scene is shortly after Rue is being an asshole to everybody and comes back home? Because I feel like it had to been before the whole thing with Ali.
I
but I
think
couldn't
it's
tell because it might have been after. It
I
was
think
like
it's after recently. I think it's like recently. I think it's like after I think it's supposed to be after her being in bed with Gia and saying, I don't know anything about your life anymore. I think it has to be around the same time. It's a response
yeah.
to that with her mom saying, you don't know anything.
Yeah, so that's where I wasn't sure if it was before or after that because I thought it was before, and that is what triggered Rue to ask about Gia, and Gia being like, "Oh, I'll tell you later," and Rue being like, "I already know," kind of a look. But I did want to touch on that. So Gia is apparently doing really bad right now in school. She's doing bad in math,
Yeah.
which I'm assuming must probably have been a strong subject for her, just the way her mom said it. Like she's getting a D in math. Like I'm assuming math was like her like I was always good
For
in history,
one.
so I'm assuming that was her
Yeah.
class. But she's getting detention. Oh, okay, good point. Yeah, because Ali did mention about
Save your second child.
save your second child and shower her with love, as she should, because it's time. Like Gia's been going through freaking hell, and it's kind of hard. And I feel like the way that Leslie was going about it, where she's more or less like, I can't tell you or show you how important your life is. You're gonna have to want that on your own. And that's kind of how I've always felt with the people with not only just addiction, but just habits in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just one of those people, like if you really want to change something, you have to want to change it. Like nobody can make you do that but yourself.
Yeah.
Like somebody could tell you something like, "Oh, you should do this because it's better for you," but unless you actually feel like you want to do it, you're not going to do it. Like people don't change because you ask them to change, you give them all the tips to change.
People only change when they want to change, when they're ready to change and accept change.
Yes,
And
exactly.
Ali was right. You need to take care of Gia because she has suffered in all of this. She has been neglected in all of this.
Yeah.
And Gia herself won't admit it. Obviously, during that dinner, she's like, "No, it's fine. I'm not angry." But she is angry. I'd be angry your childhood was stolen. Like, that's why, Rue, you
Yeah.
stole her childhood. She didn't get to have one.
Yeah. Like not at all. It's been centered around you. And it does kind of like I can see where Leslie's like at her wits' end because it's like how it's hard to fight for someone that's not fighting for themselves. And it's harder when that's your child because all she
Oh,
wants is to help and protect her. But it's like
she can't anymore.
you get like she gets like I'm not gonna tell like I wouldn't know what it's like to be that type of parent. You know what I mean? I don't. I mean, my
Yeah.
kid's only 2. He's like addicted to like Dunkin' Donuts,
And that's it, damn
Munchkins.
it. That is it.
Yeah,
It
he
is
loves
done. That's
Munchkins.
the
He does
line
like
for Axel.
Munchkins. Axel likes his Munchkins, guys. I'll let y'all know that. That is his thing. And he gets upset. But know what? He knows that when it's not time for Munchkins or Yummy Yummies, as he calls them, it's not time for Yummy Yummies. But anyways, I do want to bring up briefly when Rue and Jules still aren't talking. And Rue was looking at Jules a lot during the play.
They're gonna get back together. I don't have to even talk about it because I know they're gonna. I know they're back together next episode. They have to. That's it. They have to be.
Whatever goes down at Fez's house is going to bring them back together.
Between whatever happens with Elliot,
Yeah.
that they're gonna get back together. There's no way she's gonna seek forgiveness. She's gonna season 3. She's gonna have to make it up to her big time though, because that was pretty.
Yeah.
She had some pretty shitty things, and yes, Jules fucked up, but that doesn't make her a bad person. Just like we still kind of love Rue, right? Like we they're gonna get back together, and y'all can hate and say they won't. They're gonna
Even
find forgiveness in one another.
even if they don't get back together, because where she was kind of like, oh, I used to think that I was like in love with Jules, or like she said something very odd like that to me, where it's like, oh, I used to think we were meant for one another. I do think Rue, if she is going to take her sobriety seriously, will actually follow the rule of not getting
No
into a
love.
relationship.
Yeah.
And I think she might just go back to, because she said a lot of mess up stuff for Jules, and Jules doesn't have to forgive her.
No.
Because let's be honest, they're teenagers at the end of the day. And if I were like 17 and then one of my friends said some shit like that to me, I at 17 probably would not have been mature enough to be friends with you again.
No. Well, and like Minka Kelly's character said about her and her friend that she fucked her friend's boyfriend. No, we never fucking talked again. Maybe Maddy and Cassie will never talk again. Maybe Rules will never happen again. Maybe. Let's concede. This is going to be crazy. I've never said these words in a sentence before. Let's just say hypothetically I'm wrong, which would never happen. Let's just hypothetically also erase all the times I've been wrong. But let's just say I'm wrong. I think they'll at least end amicably, right? Like, I think that the end of the episode, they will at least end like open to forming a friendship, etc., with one another. Or reforming that, or working at least healing that. And they don't have to stay together, because I think that's the biggest thing. And the show kind of does talk and touch on that like you don't have to stay friends with those people forever. I'm only friends with a couple of them. One of them is actually coming over this weekend, and that's like one of like the 3 I would keep around from high school ever, is coming to visit, right? And that's exciting, but like you don't have to. Like sometimes these people are experiences of life, and like they're moments in your life that you will always reflect on and always think on. But like sometimes to grow healthily, you have to do it away from those people. And sometimes they're there in those times in your life to help you grow in those moments. And so maybe Rules isn't canon for the end of forever.
Yeah.
But I think that like they change each other's lives and touch each other's lives in ways that are never going to be forgotten for one another. And I think we'll see that expanded on a little more before the end of the series in totality, right? Like there's no way this is the end of the line for Rules to have character growth.
Oh, definitely not. And I feel like, I mean, the theme of Lexi's play kind of stands like a testament to that, where it's like, oh, these people that essentially are slowly growing apart.
Yes.
However, that doesn't mean that they might not come back together.
You never know.
You never know. Oh, I wanted to say, Vanessa, I did see those notes as well that have been floating around. I saw them on Twitter earlier about some predictions for the finale. I'll just pop this up here. Essentially, Ash dies. Jules won't get back with Rue, but they do kind of make amends. Maddy fights Cassie on the stage, and in the bathroom, Nate turns his dad in. So essentially, is I'll get into that Maddy Cassie thing, because I should come to get into that. So, how do you think Cassie is going to interrupt this play? I don't think she has enough time to get a bucket of paint.
I don't know.
After.
I don't know. Some Carrie shit's going down, I think.
Yes.
That's for sure. I don't know. Yeah, like she was already pretty much at the backstage. I think she definitely could disrupt it now that you say that. I don't know. Like there's an hour left. It's intermission. So you probably did the first hour and a half and you have 45 to an hour left. So half of the next episode will probably be dedicated to the play ending. And then the rest will be the end. How does that even go? I don't know. Maddy and Cassie fighting seems likely, because we still didn't get the girls fighting. Nate turning his dad in would be very interesting. That would be very interesting. But like, what would he be turning his dad in for? And then if it's pedophilia, sure, whatever. But like, then on that same note of endangering children, then like, what does that do to Tyler, actual Tyler? And then do you unravel all the time? In a perfect world, the smartest thing would be like Maddy goes back to take back what she said about Tyler and like put in a new report or some shit. And like, that's how you start season 3, is you're trying to save Tyler. Like that would probably be a very smart way to go. But like, how does that unravel? How does that work?
Yeah, and he doesn't have any physical evidence to turn in against his dad. Not only that, but his biggest thing was protecting the business that he's inheriting from his dad. So turning his dad in doesn't really, like, I feel like it does more harm than it does good for Nate. Because I think that also would bring Cal back, because they would have to be a trial.
Yeah.
And I think with Cal being gone, that's what Nate wants. So if anything that would involve Cal possibly returning to where they live is a big absolute no for Nate. So I couldn't, I saw that. I couldn't see him turning. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like where Nate's biggest thing was like, I need to get that tape. because if that gets out, my family business is ruined. That's my future right there.
Interesting.
It wouldn't make sense. But I would definitely like Maddy to recant. But then at the same time, she'd have to have Jules agree to do the same.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily, because she could do it and then Jules will get in trouble, because they did tell Jules that, you know, perjury is a thing if you're lying in a sworn statement. So
that's like, I'm just saying, there's so much you could play with to make this show go off the fucking rails with that. That would be the easiest thing to play with in season 3 is the fucking like Tyler plot in totality. Like that feels like a very fucked up thing that went down in season 1 that like has not gotten any touch since whatsoever. But to that same note, like I do think we're gonna see Travis next episode. If not, then we can all just roast me next week for funsies. But like I think we have to see him, unless it really was a one spot COVID problem, couldn't make it work. So like maybe we'll see after the play he'll be there and Maddy and him will share a moment that's promising for season 3. That could be nice.
That.
Cassie interrupting the play could be crazy. That could be
Cassie. I could see Cassie interrupting it and then Maddy being like, "Oh no," and then just like try to drag her out of there. And then Kat's like, "Stop fighting, blah blah blah."
No. That's wait, too many words. Better. It would be one word.
Stop.
Yeah, there
it gets better. They do all that, and then Maddy gets out of the bathroom and she's just like fixing herself, and Travis is like there, and he's just like, "Yeah, you beat her ass," and she's like, "You think so?" And then they get together. That's my fantasy. Probably not gonna happen at all, but we can dream. We can dream.
You know, Sam Levinson, that writer's room, it's looking pretty empty with just little old you in it. We're just saying.
We're available.
We're not that available though.
We're not that available.
We're only a little bit available. We're enough available where you should want us.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it. We're very busy on Mondays though. Very busy.
Mondays at like around 9:15, you know.
9:17, depends on the day.
It depends on the day. But trying to think. I know we've been going for a while.
I guess, let's do our final predictions, right, for next week.
I know we've been kind of saying this, so I guess Ash is probably going to die.
Yep, that bitch dead. He's killed too many people, dude. His skull count is way too big.
It is. My boy's got trained for the Olympics, so
yeah, he's got to go. He's busy. IRL, he's busy.
Ash is dead. Maybe when Ash goes to kill Custer, maybe he accidentally like hurts Faye in the middle of all that. Ooh, spicy prediction. Doubt it. But yeah, I do think Ash. I don't know. Ash is definitely gonna kill Custer and then get himself killed.
Oh, here's a good one. Lexco, Fexy. We're going to get a Fexy kiss. We're going to get a Lexco kiss, and it's going to be like back written like what we've been seeing. We'll probably get their kiss finally. I bet it's happened. I bet they're not going to waste us like that. Or we're never going to get a Lexco kiss.
Stop it.
It could be either.
How would you do that?
I'm in a lot of pain as a person, humanly speaking. Maddy Cassie fight. Fezco jail, maybe Fezco jail and prison via jail. Conjugals. Anyways, I don't know. I honestly think there's a couple ways. I think the biggest ones that we've really already said, I think there'll be some sort of rules rectifying, right? Like some sort of like at least an exchange of niceness. More than anything for Maddy and Cassie, I would actually love for like them to get their little fight sequence, but also like them to just like let go of each other, let the other one go their stupid separate way, let Cassie do whatever she's gonna do to be a stupid bitch, let Maddy go on to like heal. Maybe we just show that because again, we show the directions of the way these girls' lives are going.
I would like that.
At the end, at least.
I want Lexi to get a standing ovation. I want Suze to be like, I don't know, do something funny at the end or like, that was about me. That was me. Like I want Suze to have a couple little funny lines in the finale. I seen something because I already know that we are probably going to be on here crying next week.
I've never cried in my life, so that's a challenge. I can't wait to find out if I lose.
I cry all the time.
I literally cry like every hour. So
Same.
yeah, I think those are the big ones.
Yeah.
Overall, season's been kind of like hit, and then maybe sometimes miss, maybe sometimes steady, but then hit.
Yeah.
I think we're ramped up for the bang. I think next episode will be a banger. I don't think there'll be a moment that'll leave us calm. It'll be
not at
keep
all.
you gripped, keep you gripped.
Perfect comment to end on. Lexi gets a standing ovation, but she will think, I've won, but at what cost? Yes. Yeah. She's going to be like Thanos. It's exactly how this is going to end for her. And that cost is going to be Fez's freedom.
Why would you say that? You're really
I'm sorry.
You're really rather rude, and I don't really like you that much. And I don't really know why I keep coming back every Monday, but yet here I am.
Well.
Oh, thanks, Darius.
Thank you, Darius Darkstar. Brilliant stream, ladies. Glad to finally catch one live. So definitely got lucky with today being a holiday. Got off work early. This one's for Lexi, and of course, Val stands. Yes, because Nim's not here. I like Val. So we have a thing on Direwolf City. Mandy does not like Val at all. She thinks she's a waste of space. I like Val.
She's moderately important.
That's a nice medium.
I feel like I will play the lawful neutral Lexi character and just say important to some people.
Not to all. Speaking of actually Mandy, she actually had a crazy, super preposterous, if you will, story this week for Preposterous AF, which is the podcast that I co-host. So if you haven't checked that out, our latest episode just dropped and it's available on all of the platforms. You know what other podcasts you could listen to? Chloe, what other podcasts could they listen to?
Oh my God. If you're not listening to Preposterous as fuck, which you should be, Preposterous AF should be on your subscribe. You should get that feed rolling. You could also be listening to Girls Gone Canon, where we cover a Song of Ice and Fire point of view character at a time. So we go through one character's chapters from start to finish at a time. And we are currently on Samwell Tarly, which is a blast. Our next POV, I can't spoil it for you yet. You'll have to buckle up and wait and see. But we've got like 10 POVs left, actually. We're getting close. Yeah, we're getting close. We also cover his Dark Materials, the books, the main trilogy, the outer trilogy, the novellas, the TV show. We've talked about the movie, which nobody wants to talk about because it's bad. It tried.
That Golden Compass movie?
Oh, yeah, girl. Oh, yeah, that's a trip and a half. But we're talking about other stuff, too. We're doing other books, other little series and shows. We want to branch out and do some fun stuff. So come check us out at Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Look us up. It's Girls Gone Canon, CANON. We're everywhere.
I know we said we're getting ready to leave, but I did want to bring this up. We actually were talking about this behind the scenes, but yes, Carrie. So random. Who do you think is behind Eli Gemstone's attempted assassination? She's not here right now, but she texted me, and that is MJ, because MJ is actually a stagehand in Lexi's play, if you guys didn't know that. But she believes, and I agree with her, that the listens, so that would be Eric Andre's character and his wife, were the ones that hired the assassins to kind of essentially get them to buy in to their whole like scammy resort thing that they're planning on opening.
Yes, and it's like very obvious that it's them because of a couple reasons, right? You have the coordination of the motorcyclist helmets with the LEDs built in, the style, the flash, that's very them. And I love that the way that the episode was framed last night, that at the beginning, you think it's Junior. They tell you it's Junior. You're like, oh, so it was Junior? Damn, what a fake out. But then at the end of the episode, Junior's like, nah. So great fake out. They're really riding it. And because Eric Andre and his wife, I don't care about her, but because they haven't been, I don't know her name, whatever, blonde bitch. Because they haven't been in an episode in like 2 episodes, you know it's them because it's the finale.
Yes, it's gonna be good. And actually, it'd be a nice time to announce, if you also watch Righteous Gemstones, we are going to be doing a special crossover GGC times DWC take the Righteous Gemstones for a season review. I'll give you
Praise
guys
be
more
to He. Praise be to He.
We'll give you guys all the details on that when that comes. I'm also, if you guys watch the show Snowfall, that comes out this Wednesday, I will be reviewing that as well on the channel. So, you know, be on the lookout for that if you guys haven't started already. It's going to go into season 5 and super pumped about it. I'm so fucking pumped. But anyways,
don't forget about the Yellow Jackets videos that
oh,
you've been putting
yeah,
out too.
my
If
Yellow
you guys are
Jackets
watching
video.
Yellow Jackets, please make sure you go check out the theory videos Arah's been putting out. They're awesome.
Yes, and I am working on the follow-up video that I told you guys I was working on in that video. It's in the works. I'm back in office now. It's been a weird adjustment, but yeah, you guys are gonna get it. Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming eventually. But in the meantime, it's been great hanging out with all of you guys. Chloe, it's been fabulous as always. Thanks
you. Thanks for having me. I'll see you next week.
Yes, and MJ should be back, will be back next week. I think Lexi might give her, you know, the night off after the show to, you know, come hang out with us.
Yeah, she'll need it from the hangover from the after party. I hope we get the the cast party is all I want now. I want
I need a cast party. I need a cast party. But it's been great, guys. Thank you guys, and bye. And I'm gonna do the thing where I press the buttons and I start doing things until